dadati sa palantikam. Vans kalpatubhyascha kripa sindhu bhaivacha patitanam pavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. No, not required. I'll take the chair. Yeah, the table for the Bhagavatam is required. Hare Krishna. So before we begin class, we offer our respects to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, Srila Rupa Goswami, to all the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Gadadhar. And then we have to do one other thing before we begin class. Do you know what that is? Yes. No, turn it off completely. You won't want to hear what I want to say. Please turn off your mobile phone. Oh, Hare Krishna. Yes. I didn't know you were here. Now you are Dariwala. Hare Krishna. But I'm trying to avoid everyone looking at their mobile phones. Now, what am I going to do with you? Sri Krishna Prabhu. Okay. So does anyone know what we wish to speak about today? Raise your hand if you know. Yes, Mataji, you raised your hand first so enthusiastically. What? Akrura's visit to Vrindavan. Oh. Now there's something very wonderful, especially wonderful about Akrura's visit to Vrindavan. Of course, Akrura's journey and anyone's visit to Vrindavan is wonderful because Vrindavan is wonderful. But in the Krishna book, I think we have to do it. Where is this garland from? You have some rooms that Prabhupada stayed in, or you just dedicate?
Yeah, Prabhupada stayed in 1976, Prabhupada stayed there.
In those rooms?
Yeah.
Where are they?
They're in this first floor, at the first floor.
Let's go. Oh, but there's class also. But now I have Prabhupada's garland. So, in the Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada explains, I know how to do it. All those who want to use their mobile phones, they have to sit in the back like bad boys. And they're already there. You know, why do we say no mobile phones? Raise your hand if you understand the simple answer to this. Yes, Prabhu. Such a distraction. Such a distraction from where we want our consciousness to be often. At least certain times of the day when we want to really focus on hearing and being present. When there's some katha or a japa. So we want to remove all distractions from our consciousness, from our mind, so that we can focus on the holy names or on Krishna Katha. So Prabhupada explains that Akrura's visit to Vrindavan is very special. He explains that he acts as the ideal person going to Vrindavan. and his example we should follow. So when studying Akrura's words, or his thoughts rather, when he goes to Vrindavan and what he does, we also find that for a devotee, or an aspiring devotee who wants to actually bring his consciousness to Vrindavan, who doesn't want to stay in this material world to enjoy life, who wants to learn how to serve Krishna and achieve the ultimate call of life as given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada and all the great devotees. Akrura's actions, they give us perfect directions on how to bring our consciousness to Vrindavan, in a general mood on how to get to Vrindavan in a deep way. So we're going to be looking at Akrura's thoughts and trying to understand how they will bring us to Vrindavan, or what we have to do if we actually want to transform our consciousness. Because it's really a matter of changing the consciousness. So when we first become devotees, there's such a big change in our life, because practically speaking, the devotees are the only ones who, as Prabhupada said, live as gentlemen or gentle ladies, following principles, and then chanting Krishna's names, having a regulated life. So when one first becomes interested in Krishna consciousness, very often there's a very big, a rapid change. And there's such a relief, because most of the distress of life is caused by acting inappropriately for a human being. And people nowadays are trying to get pleasure from the things that are actually bringing them distress. And you do youth preaching, and you really see that when you're dealing with the university students. I was told a few years ago that at one point, in some IIT in Madras, he tried to limit the internet usage in IIT Madras to, it would have to turn off at something like 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night, which is not even extreme. And the students rebelled and protested until they had to change. And I'm sure they weren't only doing their homework and doing academic studies all night long on the internet, or anyway, I think they weren't. Maybe some of them were, but I kind of doubt it. So it's such a big change in the association of devotees, such a big change. But then the change has to go on year after year after year after year after year. And sometimes we have to change things if a conditional phrase, if we want to achieve the actual goal of Krishna consciousness, we have to change things that we're not really ready to change, and we really don't want to change even, but it comes right in front of us. I'm going to need some water, by the way, but not cold water. So it's really quite a process to actually get to the goal. And what is the goal of the Krishna consciousness movement? Of the devotees, but you have to raise your hand. What is the goal?
Go back home.
And what does that mean?
Go back to the
But what is it? Where? Goloka Vrindavan, yes. Goloka Vrindavan. We should go. But we're here in the material world, conditioned souls in the material world, because Krishna Bhule se jiva nadi bahimukh. We turn our back on Krishna. And the process of sadhana bhakti is the process of, again, turning towards Krishna. It's the process of again turning towards Krishna. But to turn towards Krishna, one has to turn away from the material world. And most souls are conditioned in this world. What does condition mean? We use that term regularly, a conditioned soul. What does it mean to be a conditioned soul? But you have to raise your hand. Yes.
Bondage and birth and old age in material world, stuck, entangled.
Okay, now say it in a way that a little slower so I can understand it.
In this material world, to bondage and birth, old age and disease.
Means to be bound by birth, death, old age, disease. That's the effect of being a conditioned soul. But what does it mean to be a conditioned soul?
Material attachments.
Material attachments. Okay, I'm looking for a particular type of answer.
Being conducted by something.
Yes, that's what it means to be conditioned. Means you're controlled. Even though we don't think we're controlled, we are so controlled. Is there any Jyotish Shiromani here? Anyone who knows, expert in astrology? If you know something about astrology and you see that I think I'm doing this and another person thinks they're doing that and this is happening to me and this is me, but this is just karma. This is just the effects of the modes of material nature. But who am I in the middle of this? Who actually am I? We don't live. We don't live as ourself, practically speaking. And people in this world, contemporary world, they don't even ask the question, who am I? And then they go through life accumulating different things, finding their happiness, meeting their distress, becoming attached, as one devotee said. But then at some point, it's time to go. And we go controlled by these desires, by our attachments, by the modes of nature, controlled by our karma, by our crazy minds. And we don't even know who we are, and we don't know where we're going. So I was listening to a lecture that Prabhupada gave. He didn't give it recently, but I recently was listening to a lecture very early, 1966. And he was talking, he was speaking on the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita by Stititi Muni. And he was speaking about the word kripana. And what does kripana mean? You called out, Mataji. You know, that you have this, all the corners are taken. I don't know where to put you. You're so enthusiastic. You have to raise your hand. Now raise your hand and I'll call on you. Yes. What is miser? What is the definition of a miser? Yes.
I mean, person have a things, but he doesn't use it.
Yes, exactly. He has wealth, he has money, but he doesn't use it. So when Prabhupada said, speaking of people as misers, he meant human life is so valuable and not to be used to achieve the same pleasures that animals have. Human beings have such developed consciousness. And if we don't use our consciousness, our intelligence, our introspection, our awareness properly, it is like a wealthy person who just has his money, counts it every day, hoards it, but doesn't use it properly. So we want to use our life properly as human beings. And this is the basic preaching of Prabhupada's society. Take advantage of your life, your human life. It passes so quickly. You don't think it will pass quickly, but one day you'll find yourself 77 years old, if you're lucky enough to. And then you think, what happened to my life? So what is truly to be gained? And that we also want to teach people, but we don't only want to teach others. We want to take advantage of that and gain what is to be gained ourselves. And that is to move prema paramartho mahan. What does that mean? Prema paramartha mahan. That this prema, or love for Krishna, and entering into our relationship with Krishna, this is what is to be gained. And actually speaking, in this world, nothing else is really to be gained. We may set different goals, but most of our goals aren't worthwhile unless they're connected to developing love for Krishna and serving Krishna. So Akrura's journey to Vrindavan, thank you, gives us some very important points on how to proceed on our journey to Vrindavan. What do you think stops us from getting to Vrindavan? Very good. Okay, material attachments. Huh? Material desires. What stops us? What stops you? That's not one of the questions that you really have to raise your hand and answer. But what stops us? Is it Krishna that stops us? Sometimes we think he's made it so hard, but it's not that. It's that Vrindavan is such a place that Krishna is the center, and everyone there loves Krishna. And their whole life, their whole existence, who they are, is loving service to Krishna. That's who they are. There's no part, this is for Krishna, this is for me. It's just pure love for Krishna. That's who they are. So, if I went to Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan, I saw there's a sign in the temple about no selfies with God or something like that. So that's what we would do. Here, guess who's here with Krishna and Vrindavan? And we'd send it to everyone. It's me. But in Vrindavan, it's not about me. It's all about Krishna. So what stops us from getting to Vrindavan or being in Vrindavan is that we still, that's what it means to have a false ego, ahankara, vamudatma. It means that it's about me. I am the center. I am the center. And it's all in Goloka Vrindavan, it's all about Krishna being the center. And everyone in Vrindavan, no one has to tell the people of Vrindavan, oh, you have to put Krishna in the center. They naturally love him. And why do they naturally love him? Because he's the natural, lovable object. He's so beautiful. And the way he deals is so charming. He's so clever, he's so naughty, but he's so charming. Everyone in Braj is charmed by Krishna. And so much of our process is to hear about Krishna, to chant Krishna's names, to serve Krishna, to worship the deity, but to hear about Krishna so that we also become charmed by Krishna. Slowly, perhaps, but we want to become charmed by Krishna. What do you think of this idea? What do you think about it? Would you like to be charmed by Krishna? Do you know what I mean by that? Do you know what I mean by that? No. Okay. What language do you understand best? In Hindi. Okay. Tell him what I mean. Do you know what I mean by being charmed by Krishna, enchanted by Krishna, captivated by Krishna? Do you know what I mean? How? Okay, we should be, but how about you? You want to be? How much do you want to be? Tora Tora? Bahut? Wonderful. But that's what it takes. But usually, other than, what's your name? Dhiraj. Other than Dhiraj, some of us, it may take some time to develop that full. You know, there's one verse, maybe you never heard it, Tatra loyam api mula mekalam, that you have to really want, be greedy to serve Krishna, to love Krishna. Are you translating into Telugu or Hindi? Okay, go back. No offense, Dhiraj. See, it's difficult because I don't speak Hindi, I don't speak Telugu, I only speak English. And sometimes I think I don't speak simple English, I don't know. But I try, but it doesn't come out simple because I get enthusiastic. But if you don't understand something, it will help me if you raise your hand and say, I didn't understand that. Then Prabhu can translate a little bit or something. So please do that. If you have a question or don't understand something, please immediately raise your hand. Okay? Okay. And what's your name? Shivam. Very auspicious name. And your name? Wow. Wonderful. And your name? Rahul. Do you know Buddha's brother is named Rahul? You are Buddha's brother? So Akrura, to begin the pastime, or talking about Akrura's journey to Vrindavan, which teaches us how we can also develop enough love for Krishna to get to Vrindavan. We have to hear about Krishna because he's so charming. Do you know what charming means? Now? You said very attractive, Lest. Same. He's so beautiful. Everything he does is so wonderful. So So we will hear something about the journey of Akrura. Now, before we speak about Akrura's journey to Vrindavan, we have to begin before that point. We want to begin with Kamsa. You know Kamsa? You've heard of Kamsa? Yes? You like him? Sometimes you have to be careful who your audience is before you criticize someone. You don't like him. No. He's actually a sura. I also don't like him. He was always trying to kill Krishna. He was very cruel. And he had so many cruel friends. They were also asuras. And one of them, and this is nearing the time when Akrura came to Vrindavan, one of them name was Aristasura. And he was in the form of a bull. And he was huge. He was powerful. And he came to Vrindavan on the order of Kamsa, specifically to kill Krishna. And he went all around Braja, Nanda Gokul. And he was making loud roaring sounds like a bull. Have you ever heard the sound of a bull? Loud? Yes? You know how to, you're too shy. Anyone can make a sound of a bull? No, that's a cow. They're very, not like that either, but it's very frightening. You don't want to. So he was huge and powerful. He was empowered. And he was roaring all around Braj, frightening everyone. And he was breaking down the houses of the people of Vrindavan. And he was he was killing cows even with his huge horns. And he was causing all the cows, now you can move. Just one move, please. One. Now I've got you shy. Sorry. I think so many people know how to make. Okay, you can move. Like cow sound. That was expert. One more, please. That's amazing. You grew up around cows? Yes? You know how to milk cows and everything? Huh? Yes, before. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's wonderful. Now we know who to ask when we need. So the cows would have miscarriages. Even the ladies of Vrindavan, everyone was terrified. And Krishna, he ran from Nandagan to where this bull was. And he ran there, and he went in front of this Aristasura who was making these loud sounds, and he slapped his arms. And he, being an expert cowherd boy, he made the sound of a bull to challenge Aristasura. And he slapped his arms and made loud sounds and said, "You've come here to fight? You've come here to fight with me? I'm here." And then Krishna was with some acharyas say Sridham, some say Sudham. And then he just stood in front of Aristasura and he put his arm on his shoulder very casually and looked at him. And this made Aristasura so angry. See, but you have to see in your mind what Krishna looked like. There he is, so beautiful. And he has a peacock feather atop his head, mukut. So very beautiful. Dressed in what color? Dhoti? You called out, Mataji. Now I'm going to make you afraid and make you think you're back in school again, yes? Yellow garments, and he would sash, but so beautiful. And then he would put his hand just on Sridham's shoulder like this. Say, you want to fight? Come. And he has big lotus eyes and a sweet voice. And Aristasura came charging, you know, running so fast at Krishna. He put his horns down, but Krishna knew how to control the bulls and the cows, because even when he was a little boy, he could do that. So when Aristasura came towards him, he grabbed him by his horns and threw him back 18 steps. Even though Krishna was a delicate, his skin is so soft that when a leaf falls from a tree, it turns his skin reddish. So soft, but so unlimitedly powerful, unlimitedly beautiful, and unlimitedly charming. And while he's doing this and throwing Aristasura 18 steps backwards, the residents of Vrindavan are watching. Now, what do you think they're thinking? What do you think their mood is while they're watching? Now you can say. They're afraid, but yet they're afraid of Aristasura, but they're more afraid that something will happen to Krishna. And yet they know that he's so wonderful and strong and he's protected them so many times. But yet they're afraid. And this fear isn't about themselves, because everything in Braj is centered on Krishna and Krishna's welfare. Do you understand what I'm saying? Could you understand? No. Everything in Vrindavan, the center of everything is Krishna. And no one is worried about themselves. They're just in anxiety about Krishna. And if Krishna's tending the cows, maybe he will step on a sharp rock or a thorn, because they love him so much. Would you like to have that kind of love for Krishna? Completely unselfish? It's the land of ecstasy. So they're in anxiety. And then Aristasura recovered because Krishna threw him back 18 steps. And then he was angry, more angry. You understand me? He was angry. His eyes were red. And he went charging towards Krishna again with his horns pointed right at Krishna. Did you ever see an angry bull? You have seen? It's heavy, yes? You don't want to fight with them. They just stand there. No one will go near them. And if another bull comes, they will fight, usually. So he put his horns down, and this time Krishna grabbed his horns and turned him. So if you, I was just checking to see if any of you had horns so I could demonstrate, but no one does. But he turns them, so when He turned him over, so he had to fall to the ground. Understand? And then Krishna began to kick him and kick him, like you kick a cloth to get the water out. And then he pulled out one of his horns. He killed him. Now, the residents in Vrindavan who were feeling what before? Now they saw this big bull dead. And what do you think they felt then? And their love for Krishna, because he had done something so wonderful, increased. So right after that, Narada Muni came. But at this point, he didn't come to see Krishna. He went to see Kamsa. This is in the 36th chapter of the 10th canto. He went to see Kamsa. And he didn't go into, what is this capital city where Kamsa was? He didn't go into Mathura, but he stayed outside. And Kamsa came out of the city to meet him. And he said to Kamsa, Yashodaya sutam kanyam devakyam Krishnam evacha. That Yashoda Maya, she gave birth to a girl. And Devaki, Krishnam evacha. And Krishna is actually the son of Devaki. Are you familiar with what happened on Janmashtami? You know about Janmashtami? Yes. So then Kamsa took the child and was going to kill, and then it was actually the child of Yashoda Maya, Yoga Maya. But here Narada Muni says that the actual child of Yashoda was a girl, and the child of Devaki was Krishna. And Balaram, Ramam, Cha Rohini Putram. Balaram is the son of Rohini and Vasudeva. And Vasudeva, Bibhyata, out of great fear, he gave his child to Krishna, to Nanda Maharaj, to bring up because he was fearful. And all the people that you sent, all your Asura friends that you sent to kill Krishna, they have been killed by Krishna because he is the 8th son of Vasudeva. So Narada Muni, he wanted the Leela to be sped up. And Kamsa, of course, wanted to kill Krishna, but Narada Muni wanted Krishna to kill Kamsa. And this will come out very soon. So what did Kamsa do? Immediately he pulled out his sword and he wanted to kill Vasudeva. You've cheated me. You've lied to me all these years. And I believed you. I will kill you. But Narada Muni said, no. If you kill Vasudeva now, Nanda Maharaj will know. And he will take Krishna away, so far away you'll never find him. So don't kill Vasudeva. And Kamsa said, okay. But immediately he put Vasudeva in prison with Devaki. And he began his plan. And this was the first part of his plan, to bring Krishna to Vrindavan, to Mathura. So he would kill him. And he was going to use Akrura as his messenger to bring Krishna. So the first part of the plan was to put Vasudeva and Devaki in prison, because he knew with Vasudeva and Devaki in prison, then Krishna would have to come to rescue them. And he would have to come to Mathura, and then he would fall into Kamsa's plan. What do you think about Kamsa? He was? Yes. You don't like him? No. I also don't like him. You know, when Krishna came to Mathura, he did many things when he walked through the streets of Mathura. And he even broke the bow. Do you know that? That was meant for the Dana Jagya. Do you know that? Do you know it? Just say yes or no. Do you know that? He broke the bow the first day he came to Mathura. You know that? Do you know? Yeah. Do you know the story of that bow? That bow was given to Kamsa by Parsuram. And Parsuram had gotten it from Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva had gotten this bow from Lord Vishnu. Did you know that? And Kamsa was going all over, showing off his powers and getting more allies. And he went to the hill where Parsuram was staying. And he lifted it up. He was so strong, and put it down, and lifted up, and put it down, and lifted up, and put it down. And Parsuram was so disturbed, and he was so angry. And he came in front of Kamsa, and he said, "You are like a mosquito. I will crush you." Because Parsuram wasn't very fond of what? Kshatriyas. And he said, "I've killed so many Kshatriyas." And Kamsa said, "I'm not a Kshatriya. I'm an Asura. I'm a Rakshasa." Somehow or another. Well, there's a story behind that he wasn't actually the son of a Kshatriya. He was the son of a Rakshasa who disguised himself as Padmavati, Kamsa's mother's husband. Did you know this? Yes or no? Yes. No. Okay. So when Kamsa said, "I'm a Rakshasa," he was pleased with him. And Kamsa said he was very respectful, and he wanted a benediction from Parsuram to gain more power. And Parsuram said, "I will give you this bow over here." And this bow is compared to Indra's bow, means the rainbow. And he said, "If you can string this bow, you can keep it, and you'll be so powerful. But if you can't string it, that bow will destroy you. And not only that, if anyone breaks this bow, whoever breaks this bow, he will be the cause of your death." So Kamsa took that bow, he strung it, he was so powerful, he strung it, and he put that bow in Mathura, and that was the bow of the Dana Jagya. And it was the bow of Lord Shiva, and it was going to be worshipped. So that was his plan. Let's bring Krishna to Mathura, and we'll tell him we're having a big festival. And in this festival, we'll have wrestling, but it was all a plan to bring Krishna to Mathura so he would be killed. And the lure was to bring him the thing that was especially Vasudeva and Devaki in prison. Are you following what I'm saying? Is that clear? Yes, good. Okay. Do you think Kamsa will succeed in killing Krishna? Do you think Kamsa will do it? Be able to do it? No, definitely. Haribo, yes. So it's better to be friendly with Krishna and serve Krishna, yes? Because he's so kind too. Because even if you offer him a leaf or fruit or flower or water, he will take it. If Asnami Paratapana, if it's offered with love. But if we become Krishna's enemy and competitor, we will be in trouble. So Kamsa made his plan. He had the elephant Kuvalayapida, there's a story about who that elephant was in his previous life. He was one of the sons of Bali Maharaj. I can't remember his name. But he was one of the sons of Bali Maharaj. And the lesson how he became an elephant is very instructive and important for us. Would you like to hear? Yeah. He was very powerful. He was a giant. You know what a giant is? How do you say? Bahut lambe? Is that right? Lambe means tall? Yes, he's so big, he could not fit in this room. And he decided to go to Srirangam. Raise your hand if you've been to Srirangam. Okay, like all of you. So it's good to go to Srirangam, yes? Of course. But he decided to go to Srirangam. And I am so powerful, he thought. And when people were in his way, he just pushed them aside. He pushed them aside because I want to do something. I want to go to Srirangam and see the deities. I want to go. And he pushed everyone aside. Is that good? What do you think? No, because we can't only think of ourselves, and even if it's for service, we have to be considerate of the other devotees in their service too. Those other people wanted to go to Srirangam also. So he pushed also and threw to the ground one Muni, one Rishi. I can't remember his name, maybe Trita Rishi, maybe. He pushed him to the ground and that Rishi became so angry and he said, "You're pushing everyone aside just like an elephant. You should become an elephant." And he became an elephant. But when he heard that, he felt very bad that he had done something wrong. He understood he had done something wrong. So he didn't mind pushing ordinary people aside, but he shouldn't have pushed the Rishi aside because the Rishi cursed him. So his mood wasn't so good yet. But he apologized and he said, "I didn't know who you are. Please forgive me." And he said, "Okay, I can't take back my curse, but what I will do is give you the benediction that when you're an elephant, you will be killed by Krishna." That was Kuvalayapida. And Kamsa told Kuvalaya, and you know how Kuvalayapida became in the care of Kamsa? Does anyone know? Yes. Yes. Jarasandha. Jarasandha gave to him because he married Jarasanda's daughters, whose name were Prapti and Asti. Yeah. Yes. So Kamsa told the elephant to be waiting in front of the gate, a small gate, because Kamsa was very clever. So there had to be a reason why he was there. So it was because he couldn't go inside the wrestling arena because he was too big to fit through the gate. So it made sense. So when Krishna came on the second day, the elephant was there. And he was, do you know that story? No? You're so lucky because you have so many wonderful things to hear and read. It's an amazing story how Krishna defeated this elephant. But I won't tell you now because at some point I should start talking about Akrura's journey to Vrindavan. So when he had all his plans, he got the wrestlers. Who was the wrestlers? Name one wrestler. Another wrestler. Another one. Shala. Toshala. That's the only ones I know. Kuta maybe also something. So he called all the wrestlers and we said, we're going to have and so then he called Akrura, who was a member of the Jadu dynasty. Now, he did something that was very intelligent, but he did something that I can't fully understand why he did it also. He called Akrura and said, Akrura, you are my best friend. You are so loyal to me. What is that called? There's a Hindi word. Huh? In English, you'd say flattering. But there's a Hindi word. When you say sweet words to get, huh? Yeah, probably all. And Telugu? I think no one from North India can make their tongue move like someone from South India and say it again. Yeah. Pogatum? I can't do it. What to speak of someone from New York City? So anyway, you know what he says, oh, Akrura, you're so nice. Everyone, you're so loyal to me. I want you to go to Braj and bring Krishna to Mathura because we are going to hold a great festival. And in this festival, we'll have this Dhanojagya on the Chaturdasi, when Lord Shiva is worshipped. Shiva is worshipped on the Chaturdasi. And you bring Krishna and to see the festival. And then also we'll have a wrestle. And I've heard that he's such a good wrestler. He can wrestle here and show his skills. And all this was planned so he would bring Krishna to Mathura and have him killed. But the part that I can't understand, although I have an explanation for it, then Kamsa told Akrura, who was a member of the Jadu dynasty, my actual plan is when I get Krishna to Mathura, I'm going to have him killed. The elephants, the wrestlers, I will have him killed. Now, I can't understand why Kamsa told him this. Do you know why? Can you understand? Because if you have a secret plan, you should keep it a secret, I think. But the only reason, do you know why? Do you know why? Mataji? Sri Krishna Prabhu. I don't know why, but I think he was very afraid And when you're very afraid, you talk. And sometimes you say things that you shouldn't say. Do you sometimes do that? No. Really? How old are you? 19. And what do you do? What do you study? Huh? French. Parlez-vous français? Maybe. You're learning French? Why? Why in the world? Why? Huh? You want to get a job? There's no jobs in India. You're serious? Is that what you're studying? I mean, everyone else is studying IT, AI, and you're studying French. At least you won't have any competition in Hyderabad. Do you speak French now? So let me hear. So speak a little bit French. Yeah, my name is here.
Je m'appelle Siva.
And
Je suis indien.
ask me what is my name? Ask me. In French. That's the first thing everyone learns.
Vous appelez Coco.
Sounds like Telugu to me. Okay. Wait. Oh, never mind. We'll leave this topic. This topic. But you're sure you don't like Kamsa? Okay. So Akrura was a devotee of Krishna. He was a member of the Jadu dynasty and a devotee of Krishna. But not like the devotees in Braja. He was a devotee in the mood of, he worshipped Gopadakshay Vishnu. He was a Vishnu worshipper. And he worshipped according to Varnashrama, according to the different rules and regulations. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. But he was actually a great devotee. And when he agreed to bring Krishna to Mathura, what was in his mind, he was thinking two things. One is that I will now be able to go and see Krishna. Because a devotee naturally wants to see his Lord. And who wouldn't want to see Krishna so beautiful and so charming and all attractive? So one reason that he wanted to see Krishna was what? I want to see if you were listening. Yes, and naturally he wanted to see Krishna. And another reason, he knew that if Krishna came to Mathura, it would not be Krishna who was killed. He knew that Kamsa would be killed by Krishna. So it was Ekadasi when Kamsa asked Akrura to go to Vrindavan and bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. And Akrura stayed up all night talking about Krishna, speaking about Krishna. And the next morning, early in the morning, and Kamsa even gave him a new chariot. And he thought, Kamsa was thinking, these boys, Krishna Balaram, they're just village boys. When they see a new chariot, they'll naturally want to ride and go to Mathura. And they've never seen the big city. They're just village boys. So that he wanted to attract him to come and ride on the chariot. And Akrura, on the other hand, he was happy that it was a new chariot because if it was Kamsa's used chariot, he wouldn't want to bring Krishna and Kamsa Prasad. He wanted it to be new. So the next morning, and here's where we'll actually begin. Now again, there are things that we really should learn about how to get to Vrindavan, how to make our consciousness transformed into actual lovers of Krishna, to be in Vrindavan. And Akrura will teach us this method. And we'll get a hint of the first lesson very soon. Because after all, Akrura, even though he was going to act as a messenger of Kamsa, he was actually a great devotee. So after passing the night in the city of Mathura, this is the first verse of the next chapter, of the 38th chapter. The high-minded Akrura, Madhupura Mahamati, he had a very exalted mind, Mahamati, because he was a devotee. Because devotion is very subtle. And that's why we're asked to follow rules and regulations. I can't see. What do you have up there? Did you put it up, the verse? Okay. But the only thing is then everyone will read it and then won't listen. So, but I want them to read it and listen, if you can do that. So it's hard for me to see it. So what does it say? You read it. Okay, yeah.
Shukdev Goswami said, after passing the night in city of Mathura, the high-minded Akrura mounted his chariot and set off for the cowherd village of Nanda Maharaj.
So it's, Prayayo Nanda Gokulam. He went to Nanda Gokul. He set off for there. And then the next verse reads, as he traveled on the road in his chariot, the great soul Akrura felt tremendous devotion for the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead. And thus he began to consider as follows. The word is achintayat. He began to think very deeply about what he was doing. And what was he doing? He was bringing Krishna to Mathura to kill Kamsa. And also, he was thinking that soon I'm going to see Krishna. Now, I said that there are instructions here for us in our own devotional service. Is there any instruction here that you think is for you? Yes. What's your name? Devavratapu. Hare Krishna. What instruction may be there for you?
That while he's on the road, at the beginning of the travels, he's feeling there's some emotion which is arising in his heart in the midst of going there.
He
Felt
knows
tremendous
where he's going.
devotion. Yeah.
He knows where he's going. He's going to see Krishna. So he's beginning his journey to see Krishna. And is there a little baby? There's a little baby. I thought so. No, it's okay. How old? Just really little. I thought it was either a baby or a frog. And it's a baby. So he knew where he was going. So when you perform devotional service, it's important to know where you're going. Prayojana means the necessity or the goal. Mataji, it's okay. It's okay, not a problem. It's important to know what the goal is. Just like if you want to come to the temple from your house, you first have to know where you're going. Or if you want to go to your office, your job, you have to know where you're going. Because someone would say, if you don't know where you're going, you could ask, should I go left or should I go right or straight? Does that make any sense if you don't know where you're going? You have to first set the goal before you can say that's good and that's not the proper way to go. So we should really know, Prema Pramatamahan, what we want to achieve, to get, and that's love for Krishna. And before we can develop love for Krishna, we have to know something about who Krishna is. Otherwise, we won't be charmed by him, and our mind will be attracted to all the things of this world. It's very important to know how beautiful Krishna is, how charming Krishna is, how enchanting Krishna is, how intelligent Krishna is. It's important to understand all these things. How powerful Krishna is. Otherwise, we won't be attracted to him, and we won't be able to give ourselves to him. We won't be able to surrender to him. And we also have to know the answer to a very important question. And that question is anyone good at mind reading? What's the question I'm thinking of? I'll think of it really clearly. Okay. Anyone good at mind reading? Are you good at mind reading? Someone? Take it. Okay, I'll tell you. Here's what I said was a very important question. If I surrender to Krishna, if I actually become a devotee of Krishna, if I give myself to Krishna, if I serve Krishna, will he actually take care of me? Do you sometimes have that question? Yeah, look around. Who should we look at? Now is the perfect time for a moo. Yes, please. Do you sometimes ask that question? And we can see the brahmacharis who have dedicated themselves in the temple like that. They've asked that question, and they've also answered that question with yes. And they have to keep answering it and saying yes too. That means further advancements must continue. Most important thing, knowing more about Krishna, trusting, learning to have more trust in Krishna. becoming more and more attracted to Krishna. Most important thing, especially for, not for everyone, but because the brahmacharis have made that commitment, clear commitment. It's the biggest responsibility, I think. And that's why, raise your hand if you ever have done any book distribution. Oh, it's almost everyone. Dear sir, that might work. I don't know. We can try. Because when you try to distribute books or do any service regularly, sincerely, every day, some days, use the example of distributing books. Some days, people take books. How do you distribute where? Yeah. So you stop people on the street and that
Schools, universities.
University. And
Mainly in schools.
In
We
schools.
conduct competition in Bhagavad Gita. And
So you have a system.
yes, Bhurijan.
And ladies, you distribute books. Where do you distribute?
Metro stations?
At metro stations. It's very brave, yes, I think. Because people are in a rush. And all book distributors know that the most crucial, important thing is to stop them. And how to do that is an art. But some days, so many of the books, you'll distribute so many books. And there's a tendency to think, I'm very good at this. But then some days, nothing. And no one will want a book. And then if you think it's you who's doing it, you can become very, very sad and discouraged. That's the word, discouraged. And then is the opportunity to pray to Krishna and say, Krishna, on the days when I distributed many books, it was you who was distributing the books through me. And I was your instrument. And then I began to think that I was doing it. And now I see that without you doing it, I can't do anything. So if you want me to serve you in this way, please allow me to be your servant in this way. It forces one when you serve. When you try to do any service, not only book distribution, but any service, day after day after day after day, you have to, at some point, learn how to depend on Krishna. And he will give you he will help so much. And then when you actually see Krishna helping you, then your faith, trust, vishwas, shraddha, will grow. So by serving but it has to be done in the right mood. So it develops in the right way. So by serving, you get the strength to serve more, and the faith to serve more, and the faith to trust Krishna more. Because it's not just a sentiment. It's experience that Krishna actually interacts in my life, even though I am a tiny, insignificant soul, and there's thousands and millions of other souls. He's interacting with me. And anyone who does any service seriously over time learns and sees this. And then they feel natural affection for Krishna. He's taking care of me. And we'll hear all of these things as we hear more of what Akrura says tomorrow. He felt tremendous devotion for the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead. And thus he began to consider as follows. So the next verses are all the things he was thinking. And I will give you a hint as to the most important principle. Now, how do you say that in Hindi? The most important principle, foundational principle. Yes? Siddhanta, did you say too? But say it a little louder so everyone can hear.
मूलभूत सबसे महत्वपूर्ण सिद्धांत
Foundational principle.
मूलभूत we call it मूलभूत
Another?
foundation.
Any other to make it clearer? Because it's important to understand what this is. And it is, well, we're serving Krishna. Another meaning to make it still more clear? Same? You want to add anything? Okay. It is that as he was journeying to Krishna, as we journey to see Krishna, we have to learn how to think of him, to become absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Absorption. Now I'll speak about this later because it's such an important principle. Because there's such a tendency, you're offering flowers, or chanting japa. I see this with myself. Anything that we do day after day after day tends to become mechanical, which means that you can do it without your mind. You understand? Tell me honestly. No, it's okay to say, I don't understand. Could you explain? Anything that we do day after day, that you offer your obeisances, you chant japa, you offer flowers, you can do it mechanically without your mind. Please explain. Maybe you can, but louder so everyone could hear. So.
सो हम दिन में जो भी भगवान के लिए करते हैं वो जैसे भगवान को प्रणाम करना हो या भगवान की पूजा करना हो, भगवान को फूल ऑफर करना हो, जप करना हो, वो सब मन में वो अपने आप हो रहा है. रोबोट की तरह हो रहा है, मींस मैकेनिकल रूप में, यांत्रिक रूप में.
Without the mind. Now hand him the microphone. Now you can say it in French for all the French people speaking in Hyderabad. No? Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow. And we'll talk about Akrura, the path that Akrura is describing. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So it is mentioned how Akrura felt tremendous devotion for Krishna as he started his travel. So how to develop that devotion more and more?
Yeah, that's the essence of all questions. How do I advance? So Akrura is going to describe, and in his, and I won't say what this, he describes in three things basically in his so many prayers, so many thoughts. So we'll speak about those one after the next. But everything you do in the temple, the morning program, the service, is all about this question. How do I advance? So we get up early in the morning. We keep our body in the mode of goodness. We bathe. We chant Krishna's names. We stand in front of the deities first thing, so that impression comes to our mind. Then we chant our japa. And then we go to Shringarati. And then we hear class about Krishna. And then we do service. We eat prasadam. Our whole life is centered around the answer to that question. Associate with devotees. Try to help others and attract Krishna's mercy. The whole life that you're living is centered around developing attraction for Krishna. But there are steps that are very interesting that Akrura will mention, but I don't want to say them now, but tomorrow. Because if I say them now, then you won't have to come tomorrow. You take chuti. So I only half answered your question. But that's the whole practice of sadhana bhakti. This is an example that I often use, and probably Sri Krishna will see me do this. It's like, there's one verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna bhule se jeev anadya bahimukh. You've heard that verse? Have you heard that verse?
Yeah.
Okay. So it means, what does bahimukh mean?
It's other side, turning other side.
Yeah. Turning, specifically, bahimukh, the face, away.
Up, away.
Away. So how does it feel if I go like this to you? Now I am bahimukh to you. How do you feel? Now I'm just doing it as a demonstration. But how do you feel? How do you feel? Like
He's not interested in me.
How do you feel? You feel ignorant.
He's not interested in me.
Happy? You want to be my friend? I go like this to you. So the whole process of sadhana bhakti, well, that's how Krishna feels. We turn our back on him, say, I'm not interested. So the process of sadhana bhakti is the process of turning to Krishna and saying, I want to have a relationship with you. I want to develop love for you. Even though I may not have any love right now, I want that. That is what I want. I don't want to play. See, now we're like this, and just looking at all this, just playing. Here, just playing. And trying to be happy playing. And we'll never be happy like that. And Krishna says, okay, as long as you want to play, play. But when you want to turn to me and have a relationship with me, then I will be there for you. So the whole process that we're following of sadhana bhakti is the process, Srila Jiva Goswami says this directly in Bhakti Sandarbha, is the process of turning to Krishna, towards Krishna. So we'll speak about this tomorrow and forever. We can speak about this to develop our attraction for Krishna. Thank you. Good question. Any other questions? Well, the microphone is nearer to this. What is your name, Prabhu?
My name is Jagdish Haridas.
Jagadish Haridas Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful explanation. You prepared us for the tomorrow's class as well.
Will you come tomorrow?
Yes, it's transporting us on the journey towards Vrindavan.
We want to go to Vrindavan.
So
it's a land of sweetness. This is a land of promises. advertisements of sweetness, but no actual sweetness. It's a land of frustration. But it's a land of opportunity. Opportunity to serve. Yes, what is your question, Paul?
My question is how to decide in a given situation what action to take, because like for Akrura it was a choice to accept Kamsa's proposal, and in one sense logically he was sure that Kamsa only will get killed, this is not a problem. But in other way, if you see from the let's say some Brajavasis have been asked, they have a feelings that, oh no, Krishna should not be hurted, will not send Krishna.
Oh, that's a whole different, that's a big topic.
So
that I won't answer also. Okay. I'm very good at not answering questions. I think. But this is an important topic, but after Akrura made a very big mistake when he did his service. And the gopis directly say what that mistake was. He was inconsiderate. He had to do that service, but he didn't consider the Brijbasi's great love for him. See, that's further on in the next chapter. This is all talked about, but we won't get to speak about this. I spoke about it at the Govardhan retreat last year, though. It's very heavy to speak about the gopis and their love for Krishna and their disappointment and why they were so upset with Akrura. But that's a whole big topic. But your basic question was, how do we know what to do and what not to do? So what's your answer to that question you asked me?
Means for Akrura it was
for you.
No, means I'm trying to connect and look into my life from that. For Akrura it was his duty one way to follow the Kamsa's order, and logically he thought, okay, Krishna is a supreme, Kamsa will get killed anyway. But maybe from a higher perspective.
No, but I want to bring it to you. How do you make your decisions? Because that's what you asked me.
We may, in one sense, we may have to look towards the devotees' consideration as a first priority rather than the.
Okay, my answer is the Shastric answer, basically, is that we decide what we should do, what we think we should do, but then we get it confirmed by Sadhu Shastra Guru. So we, as much as we can, first we think, this is what I think, we use our intelligence, if we have intelligence, or we can just ask. We ask the Guru, our spiritual masters, or spiritual master, or if it's practical, the Vaishnavas, Shastra, and if they all are saying the same thing, then we do it. If our own thoughts and Guru, Shastra, Sadhu are all going in the same direction, then we do it. Is that a theoretical answer or a practical answer?
Means, that's. But sometimes situations will be like, it'll be difficult to look through.
Right. So, are you alone? Do you have to make these decisions all by yourself?
No.
So who do you ask?
It's Vilas Sadhus and.
Well, who do you ask? Do you have people that you trust? I don't need to know names. Do you have people that you trust more than you trust your own mind?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure? I mean, even Jagannath Misra, when he, do you have people who you know are more advanced than you, more experienced than you, and are still looking out for your welfare? Do you have friends like that?
Yes.
So you're very fortunate then. So you go to them and say either, I'm not sure what to do, or how many friends do you have like that? 1, 2, 3, 100? If you have 1 or 2 or 3, you're so fortunate. Even if you have 1, you're so fortunate. When Jagannath Misra, when he had stopped Nimai from going to school because Vishwarup, who was so learned, his elder brother, he left home and he didn't want Nimai to leave home, so he wouldn't educate him. But then all his friends start saying, you can't do that. The boy has to go to school. And maybe Nimai had done some Rajniti. I think so. but and everyone started telling him this. Ultimately, it's whether someone stays at home or dies or whatever, takes sannyas. This is ultimately Krishna's sanction. So don't do this. Don't keep this boy from education. So Jagannath Misra's reply was that you are all my friends and you are all my well-wishers. So I will do as you say. In other words, true culture is not just trusting your mind and acting independently, but having a culture, a surroundings that support you making proper decisions so that you advance in Krishna consciousness towards the goal. So if you have 1, 2, 3, even one friends that you have so close, that you have so much trust in, that they're wiser than you or close to you, and they wouldn't tell you anything against your welfare, they won't exploit you, then you are very fortunate. And you have those, so you're a very fortunate person, in my opinion. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yes, cool.
Bhurijan, in the course of the class, you told that we should get charmed by Krishna.
We should get, yes.
So
we
Krishna
should get charmed by Krishna. And we can't if we have our back to him. So we have to face him.
Thank you, Bhurijan, for answering. So that was the question, that how to get charmed by Krishna. Generally, we get charmed by the people in this world or things of this world.
But he's Bhagavan. He's all attractive. He has all wealth, all beauty, all fame, all strength, all knowledge, all renunciation. So you go in front of the deities, Radha Madan Mohan, and you pray to them and you open your heart to them. You go in front of Nitai and Gaur, who are so special. Nityananda Prabhu was so Audarya mood. And look at Lord Jagannath. You can't be in a bad mood and stand in front of Lord Jagannath. I think not possible. But you have a relationship. You have to open your heart, speak to them, talk to them, pray to them, because you're serving them day and night. So that's the deities. And then there's Shastra. So you study Shastra. Don't try to enter deeply into its meaning. And then try to apply it to your life. And then you go to the holy dhams. And you go in the right mood to associate with devotees and to hear and chant and serve. And then you associate with devotees in the way a Madhyam Bhakta associates with devotees. You serve, you're compassionate, you make friendship, and the holy names. The holy Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevala, Kalavanas. You chant, as Prabhupada said, like a baby crying for mother. Where's baby? When we need baby again. When the baby, why does the mother have to take the child out, the baby out? Why? Okay, but why? Huh? Yes, but why does the mother, when the baby cries, why does the mother have to take the child out, whether she wants to go out or not? Wait. Why? Why? You don't want the mother to take the child out? Because you are. Why does the mother always take the child out? Yes, you know. What did he say?
To make the child happy.
Okay. Well, the brahmacharis know. None of the Matajis know. Because if the baby starts crying, no one can listen to anything, right? Because the baby's crying for mother is so powerful, everyone's mind will only go there. So the mother, being very kind to everyone, will take the child out, even though she doesn't want to go out, even though she loves the child, but she also wants to hear some shastra, maybe. Because it is so powerful. It attracts everyone's mind, especially the mother's mind. So that's why Prabhupada said, we said, chant like a baby crying for mother, because Krishna will hear your crying for mercy and for his service and to be accepted by him. So a whole process is an answer to this question. Same. Pansanga Bhakti. Any last question? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you told, the process of Krishna consciousness becomes mechanical. So how to be...
No, it doesn't. Not that it becomes mechanical. Our minds tend to be superficial.
Yes, Prabhu. So,
and then to us it seems mechanical. But it's real. It happens to me too.
Prabhu, how to be enthusiastic as we be in the beginning?
Don't be superficial. It forces you to go deeper. Otherwise, it will become mechanical and boring. Boring. You know what I mean? Boring. Boring. We need a translation.
Not boring, Prabhu, like mechanical, as you told it.
Yeah, but mechanical means it becomes boring. That doesn't capture your interest.
Just like that, like paying obeisance, just not with the will how I used to do in the beginning, Prabhu.
Okay, how did you used to do it in the beginning?
Like deities, I used to be enthusiastic for a Shringar Aarti. And,
why? What were you thinking?
Like before, I used to get attracted so much. Now it seems to be like normal. Okay, temple.
Okay, what do you do if you look at the deities and don't see them anymore? Because you're only in your mind. You're not seeing the deities. So what should you do? Stand in front of them and pray, look what's happening to me, my dear Radha Madan Mohan. I've seen you, but I know that if you want to, you can show your beauty to me. But my mind is so dull that I can't see it anymore. Please be merciful to me. I'll do my part. I'll stand in front of you. I'll look at you from bottom to lotus feet to the top. I'll hear about your glories, but ultimately I'm dependent on your mercy. Unless you want to stay on that mechanical level. So you have to make a choice at some point. Do I want to stay on this level, or do I want to go further and go deeper? So I'm really attracted to Krishna. So you tell Krishna, he's a person, a supreme person, but a person. You tell him you'd like to come closer. Well, first you have to ask yourself, do I want to become closer to Krishna?
Yes.
Don't tell me, you tell him.
Okay.
But you tell him and chant just like you want to become closer to him. But this also comes up to some degree in the prayers of the words of Akrura, the thoughts of Akrura. But it's a real issue. So if you find it's becoming mechanical, that's Krishna telling you, shaking you a little bit and saying, do you want to become deeper? Because you can't stay the same. It's like when a child is 5 years old, a little baby is 5 years old. They're very cute. They can do this, but they can't, when they're older, they can't do the same things and be cute. So it's Krishna telling you, asking you the question, do you want to come closer to me or you want to stay the same? And then you have to answer it honestly, sincerely. And if you want to become closer to him, then you have to act in such a way that will bring you closer to him.
To act is true.
To perform activities that will bring you closer to Krishna. Chanting more sincerely, serving more sincerely, serving to please him and her. Not just because I'm doing it. Do you know it's possible to sweep the floor of the temple to please Krishna, to do it in such a way that Krishna will be pleased? Is that possible?
Yes.
It's a matter of the consciousness, your mind, your thoughts, your heart. Yes, you understand me?
Yes.
Okay. We should end now because it's already 8:30. Well, Shivam, what will we do? What will you do now? What will you do now? Huh? You go where? The base? Yeah? You stay in the base? And what will you do when you get there? And what will you do after you wake up? Okay. And what will you do when you come to Mangaloti? Will you be happy to see them? I hope. Okay, thank you very much. Tomorrow we will try again.